Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton face to face in the first U.S. presidential debate after months of combat on the campaign trail. For all the pressure on each of them, one of the biggest issues isn't about the two combatants, it's about the moderator, NBC's Lester Holt. Can he hold his own against two powerful personalities, especially in the wake of Matt Lauer's controversial performance? They call it lowering the bar now. At the Commander-in-Chief Forum, he was widely criticized for being harder on Clinton than he was on Trump. But now it is Lester Holt's night in the spotlight. And we were wondering who in Canada could give us an understanding of the pressure that's on Lester Holt. Steve Paikin can. From TVO, the host of The Agenda, and an acclaimed journalist, also author, moderator of 6 debates. Hello, Steve. 3 federal, 3 provincial, and here to tell us all about it. So glad to have you with us.
Lovely to be here.
I should also say CBC alum, so welcome back. Nice to see you. Tell me a little bit, help us understand, number one, what is the role of a moderator in a debate like this?
Interesting, because the very first piece of advice I ever got from a guy you probably know, Mark Belgutch, who produced the first debate I ever did, said, job one for you is to make sure you're like an NHL referee the day after a hockey game. You don't want to see your name in the paper, right? So you're going to be so fair, you're going to be so scrupulous, you're going to make sure that the focus is so much on them that nobody even knows who moderated the debate the next day. Okay. And that's what I always set out to do. Be prepared and don't be the story. They're the story.
But you don't want to just keep time, do you?
No, you're more than a timekeeper, and obviously you want to be asking the good questions, you want to be following up, you want to put them through their paces, as it were, but you don't want to be the story.
So that is really where the crux of this debate has landed, is the activist role or not of Lester Holt. He said, or his associates have said at NBC, he's not going to be a potted plant. But the Democrats want him to be more activist. The Republicans don't. How far can you go?
Impossible situation. I had the great good fortune during all of the debates I did of having, oh, I have to be careful how I say this. We had sane leaders taking part in all of the debates. There was never any of the controversy about how much lying was going on, about how many Pinocchios all the people in the debates got. You know, the leaders actually, they took it seriously. They had some relationship with the truth. And so I had to do very, very little of this sort of fact-checking, and if somebody said something that was an egregious whopper, I never had to go in there and say, well, actually, that's not true. I never had to do it once in 6 debates. I don't know how Lester Holt's going to handle that tonight, because if you know, past performance is any indication, one of the 2 candidates tonight is going to have maybe a strange relationship with the truth. Yes.
I wonder, I mean, short of calling them out, I mean, they're concerned about live time fact-checking, and we remember Candy Crowley from CNN in the Romney debate. She was actually in the end criticized for calling him out on something. So they've said they don't want to see that kind of a thing. But if there is a whopper, I mean,
how do you let it go?
Well, or can you turn the other candidate's attention to that, or give the other candidate the chance to point that out?
Heather, you're in a no-win situation. On the one hand, you don't want to do the work of the other candidate. It really is, you know, mostly their job, if somebody tries to get away with a whopper, to call that candidate on the whopper. It's their job mostly. On the other hand, you know, I always thought that if both of them were trying to get away with a whopper, and you were the only one who had some understanding of what actually the facts empirically were, then you did have an obligation to the people watching to point that out. As I say, I never had that problem.
So we're hearing a lot of slogans, maybe without some substance, again, maybe more on one campaign than the other. As the moderator, though, how do you get them, if you ask a question, how do you get them to actually deliver on, you know, what they're really promising, what their program is on key issues like economic policy, foreign policy?
Go back at it. Go back at it again and again and again. And, you know, it depends what the rules are. I don't know how constrained Lester Holt will be tonight when he has to go through what he has to go through. I always wanted rules that were sort of tough enough to make sure that the candidates couldn't scream at each other and that everybody performed with a certain amount of decorum, but broad enough so that if both of them were ignoring what the question was, I could follow up and follow up and follow up if necessary, 2 and 3 and 4 times if required. I don't know what his rules are tonight.
What do you think he's doing?
I think he's sweating bullets, and I'll tell you something. Well, the reality is, I mean, you know, our numbers are smaller, but the program I do on TVO is watched by 100,000 people a night. The debates in Canada are watched by 3 million. So you know if you screw up, everybody's going to know about it, and it's a career killer. I can't imagine what he's going through right now.
100 million estimated.
Exactly. I mean, you prep as much as you possibly can, but at the end of the day, you know, if for whatever reason something goes south, everybody's going to know about it, and it's just going to be a miserable experience.
So they say that Hillary Clinton's right into her binders. You imagine that Lester Holt will be right into the binders doing the prep and the research and everything, I suppose.
Absolutely.
At this point.
Yeah.
Why would anyone want this job, Steve Paikin?
That's an excellent question. Do you know what? It's a great, first of all, it's a great honor. It's a great honor to be asked. It's a great challenge. It's a great challenge to kind of do it and have it go well, and even maybe have a significant part in the outcome of an election campaign.
You think the moderator can have?
Oh, I think if the moderator does his or her job properly and the thing goes well, it can be extremely impactful on the outcome of the election. But again, you don't want to be the story. And I don't know how, given how crazy these debates in the States have been, I don't know how any moderator, even if they do a bang-up job, I don't know how they avoid that problem of being the story, because there's just, I mean, all bets are off in these things, right?
You watching tonight?
I'm actually not.
Really?
No. I think across the road the Yankees are playing the Blue Jays, and that's where I'm going to be tonight.
Well, the stakes are just about as high.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's funny. Okay, well, you'll find all
I'll
about
PVR
it.
and watch
Tune
later.
in tomorrow. We'll be talking about it again.